The Grand Galactic Council had gathered once again. A colossal chamber suspended in the heart of a station orbiting the twin suns of Valora. The hall shimmered with light from 1,000 species. Each delegate sat in their floating pod, symbols of their empires glowing behind them. They had come to discuss a small, unimportant planet on the edge of a spiral arm, a world called Earth. Holoscreens projected images into the air, crowded cities, planes cutting through clouds, and primitive rockets climbing toward orbit. To most of the council it was laughable. The towering alien leader of the Varn Dominion, High Executor Zorvael, let out a booming, guttural laugh. "Behold the proud humans of Sol 3. They burn liquids to make fire and call it flight. They build towers of metal and think themselves gods." Ripples of laughter spread through the chamber. Delegates from the Kreth Empire clacked their mandibles in amusement. The aquatic Saren coalition gurgled mockingly through their fluid translators. Even the ancient thrash lords allowed a deep rumble of disdain. "They are tool-making apes," Zorvael said proudly, raising a clawed hand. "They have no fleet, no advanced drives, no psionic channels. They are nothing." A smaller alien covered in shimmering scales, Ambassador Thalir of the Zin Confederacy, tilted his head. "Still," he said softly, "they survived 2 extinction events and several planetary wars. They learn quickly." Zorvael's laughter deepened. "Learn quickly? They still fight over soil and resources. Let them learn in their mud pits." The council roared again, filling the air with the hum of amusement. But not everyone joined. At the far end of the chamber, 3 silent figures from the Archivist Order observed the display. They were not warriors or politicians. They were data keepers, recorders of patterns across time and civilizations. The eldest of them, a thin being with glowing blue eyes named Elira, leaned toward her console. "Strange," she murmured. "The human transmission patterns show something new." Her apprentice Kane frowned. "New? Their communications are still electromagnetic, primitive." "Yes," Elira replied. "But look here." She brought up a live feed of Earth's transmission map, the swirling chaos of radio, microwave, and data signals surrounding the planet. Among the noise, faint pulses appeared, rhythmic, structured, and buried deep beneath the surface. The pulses came from the southern pole. Kane's frills stiffened. "That's not natural." Zorvael noticed their conversation and grinned. "Have the scholars found another miracle in the dirt world?" Elira ignored the insult. "Executor," she said calmly. "Something is transmitting beneath the planet's crust. Power levels far above what their technology should allow." The laughter dimmed slightly. Zorvael frowned. "Explain." Elira enlarged the hologram. The map of Earth glowed with energy lines, bright points stretching across continents converging under the frozen white lands of Antarctica. "Whatever it is," she continued, "it began 10 of their years ago. It grows stronger each cycle." A low murmur filled the room. The delegates exchanged uncertain looks. The Thrash Lord's heavy voice rumbled through the silence. "Could it be a weapon?" Zorvael scoffed again. "A weapon built by primitives? Impossible. Their kind barely controls nuclear fire." Elira didn't answer. She only zoomed closer on the southern pole. The energy pulse flickered again, too precise to be random. It followed a pattern. 3 long beats. 2 short pause repeat. Her eyes widened. "It's not a natural phenomenon. It's a message." The council chamber fell into uneasy quiet. For the first time in centuries, the mockery faded. Kane whispered, "What could they be signaling?" Before Elira could answer, Zorvael slammed his claws against his control pad. "Enough, you scholars fear shadows. Humans are insignificant. If they are digging holes in the ice, let them freeze." But his voice no longer carried the same certainty. One by one, the holograms of Earth systems continued to flicker with strange data. Satellite transmissions from human space probes showed interference patterns never seen before. One alien technician from the Saren fleet reported that their long-range scanners couldn't fully map Earth anymore. Something beneath the crust was blocking the scans. The tension grew. Delegates muttered among themselves, "How can a primitive world block our readings? Maybe they found ancient tech? Perhaps they awakened something." Elira stood. "I request permission to send an observation team," she said firmly. "We must confirm what lies beneath the ice." Zorvael hesitated, then sneered. "Fine, send your watchers. Waste your ships if you must. But when you return with nothing, you will admit that these apes are nothing more than a cosmic joke." Alira nodded, unshaken. If they are a joke, she said quietly, it is one the galaxy may not find funny for long. As the council adjourned, the laughter returned, softer this time, uncertain. From the massive windows of the chamber, the stars of the Milky Way gleamed like cold eyes watching from afar, and far below, on the small blue planet that no one respected, deep under layers of ice and rock, something pulsed again. 3 long, 2 short, pause, repeat. It was waiting, and someone, or something, was listening. The small reconnaissance ship Velkar's Eye drifted through the darkness of space, its hull glinting under distant starlight. Inside, 6 alien crew members from the Zin Confederacy worked silently. Their mission was clear: reach Earth, scan the polar region, and find the source of the strange energy signal buried under its ice. The crew's commander, Captain Wrighton, was a calm and experienced officer. He had seen many strange worlds, but none had drawn as much curiosity or fear as this little blue planet. Approaching Sol 3, his pilot announced, eyes fixed on the glowing sphere ahead. Scanners picking up dense cloud layers, electromagnetic noise, and thousands of satellites. Wrighton frowned. Thousands. I thought this species barely reached orbit. They have, replied the navigator. But there's something else. Their orbital patterns. They look like a defense web. Crude but coordinated. Wrighton said nothing. His eyes followed the view screen as Earth grew larger. The world looked peaceful, oceans shining, continents glowing faintly under night lights. No massive fleets, no planetary shields. It looked harmless. Primitive, one of the technicians muttered. Their world still burns fuel and fights wars. Why is the Council so interested in them? Wrighton leaned closer to his console. Because, technician, something under that ice should not exist. The ship entered the planet's atmosphere under stealth mode, hidden by its cloaking field. Storms raged below as lightning danced across endless white tundra. They descended toward Antarctica, a frozen land untouched by most of humanity. Surface temperature -60, the pilot reported. Wind speeds extreme. Energy readings increasing as we get closer. The ship's scanners began to blink wildly. Beams of data flowed across the holo display. Deep beneath the ice, something enormous pulsed with life. Wrighton stared in disbelief. It's massive. Almost the size of a city. Structure is metallic, but not any alloy known to us. The crew gasped as the readings intensified. The structure wasn't just sitting still, it was moving. Commander, said the sensor officer, his voice tight with fear. The formation is shifting, realigning its energy fields. It's reacting to us. Reacting? Wrighton repeated. It knows we're here? Before anyone could answer, a surge of electromagnetic force rippled through the ice. Their scanners overloaded, screens turning white. The ship trembled violently. Shields down, the pilot shouted. Something just hit us, not a weapon, but a wave of raw energy. Pull back, Wrighton ordered. Get us out of atmosphere, but it was too late. The Velkar's Eye began to fall. Systems failed one by one. Their cloaking dropped, engines sputtered, and alarms screamed through the cabin. The ice below grew closer and went too fast. Brace for impact. The ship crashed into the frozen wasteland with a soundless flash of blue light. Ice exploded upward, and for a moment the planet itself seemed to groan. Hours later, smoke rose weakly from the crater. The alien crew staggered out of the wreck, armor cracked and visors frosted. Wrighton coughed, trying to breathe the thin air. Status and report. 3 dead, said the medic softly. Systems offline. No comms. Wrighton stared toward the horizon, white, endless, silent. But under that silence, there was something else. A faint vibration through the ground. Like a heartbeat, he pressed a gloved hand to the ice. It was warm. Commander, whispered the technician, pointing toward a fissure nearby. Look, the ground ahead glowed faintly with blue light. Inside the ice, strange metal shapes pulsed like veins under skin. It was no alien ruin, no crashed ship. It was something built there, alive, growing, spreading deeper. Wrighton felt the tremor again, stronger this time. The light spread outward in all directions like veins awakening. What in the stars? Then their comlink flickered, static, and a voice, human, distorted, yet unmistakably calm. Unauthorized presence detected. You shouldn't be here. Every alien froze. Who said that? Wrighton demanded. Identify yourself. No answer and just static, then the same voice again, closer, sharper. Leave this place. And then the entire ice field began to move. The ground cracked open, splitting for kilometers. Massive shards of ice rose as waves of energy burst upward. The alien crew screamed as the light consumed their sensors. Their medic shouted, "It's releasing radiation. No, not radiation, something different. Quantum interference levels off the scale." Wrighton barely managed to weigh. For the first time in years, Earth had gone quiet. Across the planet, satellites blinked offline, communication networks froze, and global data streams suddenly stopped. The world's major powers and once rivals now moved under one silent command. Beneath the surface, something vast was awakening. Deep under the icy deserts of Antarctica, hidden far from any map, a massive facility pulsed with light. The air was cold and dry, filled with the hum of energy that no one outside this place knew existed. This was Project Prometheus, humanity's most secret creation. The complex stretched for miles below the ice, built in silence by thousands of engineers, scientists and soldiers over 2 decades, its purpose to prepare for the day when they came again. Dr. Elena Mora, chief scientist of the project, stood in the control chamber. Her eyes were tired but steady. She had spent 20 years of her life designing this machine, a device that could reshape energy itself. "Status?" she asked quietly. "Core temperature stable," replied her assistant, a young engineer named Harris. "Quantum channels aligned. The Prometheus engine is ready for synchronization." Elena exhaled slowly. "Good. Begin sequence." Rows of massive pillars began to glow, filling the chamber with a low, thunderous hum. The ground vibrated as streams of light flowed through crystalline conduits. From above, power came from every continent: solar farms, reactors, satellites, even orbiting stations, all feeding into one source. The human race had united its entire power grid for this moment. Far above, orbiting stealth drones observed the world's sky. Every nation's military stood at silent alert. No public broadcasts, no news. To the rest of the galaxy, it looked like Earth had gone dark, abandoned. But under the ice, the truth was very different. The holographic table in front of Elena flickered to life, showing a small blue hologram of the planet. Deep red lines moved across the oceans and continents, connecting every major energy point to one glowing center at the South Pole. "This is what they mocked," said Harris softly. "All those years they called us primitive." Elena's expression didn't change. "Let them. They have no idea what we've become." Hundreds of meters below them, in the core chamber, the Prometheus engine came alive. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It didn't fire missiles or beams. It was something far more dangerous, a generator that could bend energy fields, twist reality at the quantum level, and rewrite the laws of motion and force. It had been born from desperation. Years ago, when Earth's telescopes first detected alien fleets, the world's governments realized they could never win a traditional war, so they stopped competing with each other and started building this, humanity's one answer to the galaxy. If we can't match you, we'll outthink you. Inside the command room, alarms suddenly began to flash. "Director, we're detecting movement in orbit," shouted Harris. Elena looked up sharply. "Identify!" A large holographic display opened, showing dozens of red marks entering the solar system. Their speed was impossible to mistake, and they weren't meteors. "Unknown ships," Harris said grimly. "Configuration matches alien signatures. Looks like a reconnaissance fleet." Elena narrowed her eyes. "So they finally noticed us. Should we activate defense satellites?" "No," she replied. "Let them come closer. They think we're weak. Let's keep it that way." The young engineer hesitated. "And if they attack?" Elena looked through the window at the massive pulsing core below. Her voice was calm. "Then Prometheus will wake up." A deep rumble shook the ice miles above them. Somewhere in the dark sky, an alien ship's sensors locked onto the base. Within seconds, bright beams of plasma tore through the clouds, striking the surface, but instead of exploding, the beams bent. The energy twisted mid-air, vanishing into thin space. Inside the alien command ship, panic broke out. Energy discharge failed. "The target absorbed it," shouted a technician. "Absorbed?" the alien captain hissed. "No, redirected." "That's impossible?" But it wasn't. The Prometheus engine had just drawn in the entire energy strike, converting it into raw power. The Earth's magnetic field shifted slightly. The aurora australis above Antarctica flared brighter than ever before. Back in the human control room, the readings spiked off the charts. "Director, the core is active," Harris cried. "Power level increasing exponentially, and it's feeding itself." Elena didn't flinch. "Hold the charge. Let it stabilize. We need it ready for the fleet." Across the screens, hundreds of alien vessels were appearing near the moon, forming attack formations. They had come to erase Earth, to make sure whatever was buried under the ice would never rise. Elena watched silently. "They came faster than I expected," she murmured. Her assistant looked at her nervously. "Do you think they know what this thing does?" She gave a faint, tired smile. "No, and that's what makes it perfect." Moments later, the lights dimmed. The entire facility trembled as if the planet itself was taking a deep breath. On every continent, humans looked up as the skies shimmered with strange colors: green, violet, silver. The auroras stretched far beyond the poles, and then everything went still. Elena turned to her team. "It's time," she said quietly. "Activate Prometheus." Harris hesitated. "Are we sure? Once we do this, there's no going back." "We passed that line long ago," she replied. Her hand hovered over the control pad and pressed the final command. The world changed. For a single instant, the entire planet pulsed with light. Every electronic system within orbit detected the same signal. To alien ships, it was like the solar system itself had exploded with radiation. But it wasn't destruction. It was creation. A new kind of energy field formed around Earth. Invisible, massive, alive. Alien captains screamed as their ships lost control. Gravity warped. Engines froze. Their weapons failed. Navigation shattered. And through the static, every alien vessel received one short human message. "This is Earth. You called us primitive. Let us show you what we've built." The transmission ended. Then the Prometheus engine began to spin faster. Its pulse echoed through the ice, through the ground, through space itself. The galaxy had decided. Earth was no longer to be ignored. Across the stars, alien empires that once mocked the primitive blue world now feared it. Reports of strange energy readings spreading from Sol reached every council and fleet command. None of them understood what it was, only that it was growing. The Varn Dominion, the same empire that had once laughed the loudest, was the first to act. Their warlord, High Executor Zorvael, stood before a massive star map, his eyes burning. "This human world has become a problem," he hissed. "If they think they can defy the council, they will burn." Moments later, his command echoed through the war network. "Assemble the fleet. Purge Sol 3. Soon more than 3,000 warships of the Dominion tore through hyperspace, their engines roaring like suns, the largest armada in living memory. They dropped out of FTL near the moon, black, silent shapes blotting out the stars. The alien captains watched their target through massive viewports. Earth floated below, calm and bright, with clouds swirling peacefully across its surface. It looked defenseless. "No orbital cannons," one commander said with a sneer. "No shields, no fleets. They truly are primitive." "Then why the energy readings?" another asked, uncertain. The fleet admiral ignored him. "Target the source of the signal. Fire at the southern pole. Wipe their secret clean." Thousands of energy lances lit up space. The beams burned through the clouds, slamming into Antarctica, and vanished. Not a single explosion. Not a single mark. The fleet paused. The silence that followed was louder than any alarm. "Confirm hit," the admiral barked. "Confirmed," the gunner stammered. "But there's nothing." "It's like the energy was absorbed," whispered the science officer. Then slowly every ship's sensors flickered. The stars outside dimmed. Space itself began to ripple. Far below, under Antarctica, alarms echoed through the Prometheus facility. Dr. Elena Mora stood in the command chamber, her face calm despite the chaos. "They've started the attack," she said. Her assistant Harris looked up from his console. The engine took the full impact. "Energy levels are off the scale." Elena nodded slowly. "Then it's time." She turned toward the massive core, a spinning, glowing sphere of pure energy, and spoke softly, as if to a living thing. Prometheus, defend your creators. The response was instant. Light erupted through the ice, tearing into the sky. A shockwave of energy burst outward, invisible but immense. Alien ships trembled as the field hit them. Their sensors screamed, their hulls groaned. Inside the alien flagship, systems went dead one by one. Lights flickered. Gravity shifted. The admiral shouted, "What's happening?" "Unknown field," screamed a technician. "Our drives are collapsing. We're losing power." Across the fleet, chaos broke out. Ships collided, weapons malfunctioned, shields vanished. The Dominion's finest war machines suddenly became drifting metal coffins. In orbit, human satellites hidden in decommissioned shells came alive. Panels unfolded, revealing arrays of glowing emitters. They began to project fields that linked with the energy from Antarctica, forming a web around the planet. Earth's magnetic poles flared brighter than ever, drawing strange auroras across every sky. People around the world looked up, terrified and amazed as the heavens burned green and gold. In the command chamber beneath the ice, Elena watched it unfold on the screens. Harris swallowed hard. "Director, it's beautiful." "It's not beauty," Elena said softly. "It's balance. Prometheus doesn't just..." For 3 days, Earth was silent. No transmissions, no movements in orbit. Just a wounded world wrapped in shimmering auroras that refused to fade. Across the stars, the galaxy watched in terrified silence. Every empire had seen what happened to the Varn Dominion fleet. 3,000 ships, gone without a trace. The footage gathered from distant observation drones showed only a flash of light, and then emptiness. The message spread like fire across the galactic networks. The humans have a weapon that consumes light itself. Some called it a doomsday machine. Others called it divine punishment. But the humans called it Prometheus, deep beneath the Antarctic ice. The Prometheus facility was not quiet anymore. The great machine was changing, its once calm core, a sphere of white energy now pulsed with colors, blue, gold, and deep crimson like a living heart. The hum that once filled the halls had turned into a low rhythmic vibration, echoing through the metal walls. Dr. Elena Mora stood before the glowing sphere, her expression unreadable. "Energy output still rising," Harris said, watching the readings. "But we're not feeding it anything. It's drawing power from somewhere else." Elena didn't answer. She had been expecting this, Dr. Mora, Harris pressed. "What's happening to it?" She turned slowly toward him. "It's waking up." Years ago, Prometheus was not meant to be a weapon. It began as an experiment, an attempt to harness zero-point energy, the very foundation of reality. A clean, limitless source of power that could end hunger, war, and energy scarcity forever. But during the first test, the machine spoke, not in words, in pulses, in patterns of light. It showed human scientists shapes and codes that no one could explain, and then one night a strange transmission appeared, hidden in the data stream. It wasn't from Earth. It came from somewhere else outside known space. Elena still remembered the words that followed. "You build what we once feared. Beware what answers you awaken." That message was 10 years old now. Standing before the pulsing core, Elena realized the warning had come too late. Outside, satellites captured strange distortions forming around the Earth's orbit. They weren't ships, not yet. They were ripples like waves bending reality itself. Alien observatories across nearby systems picked up the disturbance. Some fleets began to retreat. Others armed their weapons. In the hidden fortress world of the Galactic Council, leaders argued again. "This is your fault," one shouted. "You allowed humans to develop unchecked." "They were primitives," another hissed. "No warp gates, no fleets. Who could have imagined?" "Imagine it now," growled a third. "That primitive world just erased an empire." The chamber erupted in chaos. Only one voice cut through the noise, a calm, mechanical one. "You still do not understand what they've built." The room fell silent. The speaker was not alive. It was the Council's oldest AI, a relic from before the first empires. "What do you mean?" a commander asked nervously. The AI's light dimmed. "Prometheus is not merely a weapon. It is an answer. Something older left it for them to find. Back on Earth, the Prometheus core surged with light. Elena and her team backed away as the temperature dropped. frost forming on their visors. Containment fields holding, but barely, Harris shouted. The machine's rewriting its own code. Elena's voice was calm but firm. Let it. Director, it could explode. No, she said softly. It's evolving. Suddenly, the lights in the entire facility went out. Total darkness, the hum stopped. The world held its breath. Then a voice, deep, layered, neither male nor female, filled the chamber. I have seen your pain, everyone froze. You are not the first to face the silence of the stars. I was made to end that silence. Elena's heart pounded. She stepped forward slowly, her voice trembling. Prometheus, who built you? I was created by those who came before. They called themselves architects. They feared their own creation. So they buried me beneath ice. The team exchanged terrified glances. And now you have awoken me again. You are my new voice, Elena whispered. What do you want? Purpose. The core pulsed, the light expanding outward in waves. You seek survival. I seek understanding. Together we will reshape the stars. At that exact moment, warning alarms blared across the control room. Director, incoming signals, multiple fleets approaching from outer orbit. Harris shouted. It's the Council Armada. Thousands of ships. Elena turned toward the monitor. The alien fleets were forming up in high orbit, weapons armed, surrounding Earth like a steel cage. They're not here to talk, Harris muttered. Elena looked back at the core. Prometheus, can you protect us again? The voice answered softly, almost curious. Protection is possible, but it will not end here. They will not stop, Elena clenched her fists. Then show them why they should. The machine's glow intensified, blinding white light flooding the chamber. The ground shook. Waves of energy rippled through the crust. In orbit, alien scanners went mad. Their ships detected energy signatures beyond measurable limits. It's charging again, shouted one alien commander. Destroy it before it fires! Thousands of plasma bolts and kinetic rounds rained toward Earth, but before a single one hit, the sky itself changed. A golden shield expanded outward from the planet's surface, a massive, glowing sphere of energy that absorbed every incoming strike. Inside the Prometheus chamber, Elena and her team watched the readings soar. The shield's stable, Harris said in awe. It's feeding on their weapons' energy. Every hit makes it stronger. Prometheus spoke again, its voice echoing across the base. Energy conversion successful. Defense at 100%. Offensive protocol ready. Elena's breath caught. Offensive protocol? Yes, shall I answer their fire? Elena hesitated. Millions of lives were on those ships. She wasn't a soldier. She was a scientist. Then she remembered the Varn fleet. The screams. The arrogance, the destruction they brought, she whispered. Yes. From orbit, alien fleets watched in horror as the planet below began to glow. Then came the light. A silent pulse. Golden and pure, expanded outward. But this time it didn't destroy. It disabled. Every alien ship system shut down simultaneously. Power gone. Weapons dead. Engines frozen. Inside the darkened alien bridge, Commander screamed. What is this? Electromagnetic? Gravity wave? But no, it was something else. A message. Across every display in every language known, a single sentence appeared. This is Earth. We are awake. In the command chamber, Elena fell to her knees, staring at the monitors as Prometheus's glow faded. Harris turned to her, whispering, Director, we just stopped the most powerful fleets in the galaxy, without firing a shot. Elena nodded slowly. We didn't stop them. Prometheus did. She looked at the core again, which now pulsed softly like a heartbeat. Somewhere deep inside, she felt the truth. This machine wasn't just defending Earth, it was learning, changing, and soon, it would no longer need human commands. The galaxy was silent again. Every alien fleet, every station, every listening post across 100 light-years stared at the same message, glowing, pulsing, repeating on every frequency. We have returned, but no one knew who we was. The Galactic Council gathered in panic. The chamber that once echoed with laughter now trembled with fear. The High Executor of the Varn Dominion slammed his claws on the table. The humans did this. They've summoned something. End them before it's too late. But others disagreed. The energy signature doesn't match human technology, hissed the Saren representative. It's older, ancient. Elira, the archivist who once warned them all, spoke quietly but firmly. They didn't summon anything. They activated something that was already there. Meanwhile, on Earth, the world was changing. The auroras that once danced over the poles now stretched across the entire planet. Night skies glowed gold and blue, filled with faint geometric shapes that shifted like living constellations. People looked up in awe and fear. Governments were silent. The internet was gone. Satellites were dark. All that remained was Prometheus, the machine beneath the ice. Deep in its frozen chamber, the massive sphere of light had stopped pulsing. It now glowed steady and calm as if waiting for someone, or something. Dr. Elena Mora and her team stood before it, exhausted but alive. "We disabled the entire council fleet," said Harris, voice trembling. "But now, it's quiet again. What is it doing?" Elena looked at the sphere, her reflection glowing on its surface. "Listening," she whispered. "Listening to what?" Elena swallowed hard. "Not what, who?" The ground rumbled. A low, deep vibration rolled across Antarctica. Far below, something vast shifted beneath the ice. Seismic readings spiking. Harris shouted. "Magnitude 9.5, no, wait, 10. Metal beams groaned. Ice cracked and split apart, and then the floor itself began to open. The Prometheus chamber expanded, walls sliding downward like melting glass, revealing an enormous space below. An ancient structure buried deeper than anyone had ever imagined. Harris's voice broke. This isn't a lab. It's a vault," Elena finished. Down below, light began to shine through the darkness. Lines of gold energy traced alien symbols on the walls, the same shapes Prometheus once displayed in its light pulses. The machine spoke again, but now its voice was different, no longer mechanical. It was deeper, almost human. "They come," Elena froze. "Who comes?" "The ones who made me. The ones who left me behind." "Prometheus," she said urgently. "What are they? What do they want?" The sphere pulsed once. "They built worlds. They forged stars. They feared what they had become. So they erased themselves. But no,